My name is Victoria Disorbo, your Miss World America. I was born and raised in South Florida, and I grew up in very humble beginnings. I lived in close quarters with my family. My dad's parents were both immigrants from Italy. Being so close and living in a room with my mom and dad, it really brought us very close together and gave me some of my most happiest childhood memories. One of them being cooking with my nonna and making authentic Italian dishes. We've always really had this culture of love, acceptance, and hard work in our family, and they always embedded that in me in a very young age. I very early on made a really close connection to a friend that helped make my growth possible as a young girl, and that friend's name was Julie. I met Julie one day in the pool. She had just moved from Belgium. She had a disease called cystic fibrosis. Now, what cystic fibrosis is it's an inherited lung disease that literally makes it hard for the individuals living with it to breathe, and the life expectancies are not very high. So when I was sat down as a child, my parents had to really instill in me that if I was going to continue on with this friendship, I had to be very selfless, and I had to ensure that I knew that at a young age I might lose my best friend. And at 8 years old, I made a decision that her fight was my fight, and there was no way I was going anywhere. And that's what it became. When you're a caretaker for someone, or when you're a support system for someone, when they are struggling with a life-threatening disease, my job was to be a comfort, to be a light, and to allow her light to shine too. And there's no place I would have rather been. As the years went on, and Julie's lung function decreased, myself, Julie's mom, Julie's family, we started to lose our lights, and we started to lose our hope. And the one thing that was so powerful is Julie would keep hers. Her example of strength and resilience embedded something in me that I will never lose. Making sure that other people around you are okay before taking care of yourself. And her strength is something that lives inside of me, and always will. When I was 16 years old, Julie went in for her lung transplant, and a few weeks later took her last breath. From that moment on, I knew it was time for me to let her light shine through me and impact as many individuals as I could, so another 16-year-old girl wouldn't have to struggle with cystic fibrosis. Through my experience and my humanitarian efforts, I've been able to raise over $400,000 for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. I believe that you can do the best work in your life when you have compassion and empathy for where someone is or what someone's going through. Growing up with humble beginnings and going through the loss of my best friend at a very young age instilled this need and want to take care of others and help others. And now that my dad's professional life and his corporation have definitely flourished, and he's been able to do very well for himself in America, we've had a lot more opportunities to help individuals in our communities. Random acts of kindness and senseless acts of beauty are really the pillars that bring our family together, and how we work as a unit to create more light and provide more for the individuals in our lives, in our communities. At a very young age, I realized that it does start with kids. I see myself in a lot of the children that I'm able to work with, and being able to show children at a young age that service doesn't have to be something that's so hard to grasp, something that's so difficult. It really just takes showing up and having a positive mindset, which is why at 16, I authored my first children's book, which was proven to be a bit difficult for me because growing up, I had a reading and writing learning disability. So I used some of the tools that I was given as a child called mnemonics to create a fun spin on how to explain what Julie went through on a daily basis with cystic fibrosis. Since then, I've been able to author another children's book, and it was actually to provide children with tools that I wish I would have had growing up on how to express themselves, on how to respect themselves, and also sustain really healthy relationships. Through that work, I really just became passionate with helping all different types of people in different places in life. So I really dove into my work with this organization called Angels for Humanity, where getting in the trenches of humanitarianism really came to fruition. With Angels for Humanity, I'm their international ambassador. am boots on the ground, and I am not afraid to get my hands dirty when it comes to helping the communities that we serve. And in our last mission trip to Haiti, we actually broke ground on a school that we're going to be building there called Angels for Humanity Academy. Being able to go to the school and stand on the ground where this school was going to be built in Cape Haitian was a surreal moment. To be able to remember that I'm going to be a part of providing these children with a safe space to be creative, to learn, and to feel dignity. We're going to be creating real change and giving them an opportunity that they wouldn't have had otherwise. Being able to provide these people with things that they need, with a smile, with a hug, is where the real work comes in. It's those human moments when you really connect. One of my last missions, I was at a church and we were delivering supplies to kids. And whenever I go on these missions, I always bring love bracelets because I believe that every individual deserves love. I always know I can share a little love, and it's something small that they can carry with them. So to be able to give that to someone that may not have had shoes on that day because they couldn't afford it, or may have been so excited that we were bringing medical supplies and food and toys and clothes to them, was just so fulfilling and a moment that I will never forget. I've been able to do a lot of work in the trenches, but I've also been blessed to be able to do some great work at fundraising galas and being able to connect with high-level officials in the government and also some celebrities. And it's also been incredible too to use my degree in journalism to interview celebrities across America, alongside Mark Anthony and his wife, Nadia Fiera, which was an incredible experience, really understanding their love for giving back to their communities. But I am a girl who does understand work-life balance. And, I've really leaned in through seeing a lot of what I've seen this past year to trying to find the subtle joys in my life. And some of those include yoga, Pilates, and I really do have a love for ballroom dancing. And it was during actually Miss World America, when I was there with my sister queens, that I realized that so many of our stories were so aligned. We were almost mirrors of each other, brought together through our pain, our power, and our purpose. And I promised on that stage that day that I would dedicate my life and my year to making sure that I'm amplifying not just my voice, but the voice of others, specifically the voice of my sisters, which is why I've continued my series, Voices Across America, where I highlight the community service projects and the Beauty with a Purpose projects of the different states across the United States of America. Because, we're stronger in numbers and when we band together. And if we can come together and allow our voices collectively, we will make measurable change for generations to come. I feel like real beauty has to have a purpose, and it's okay if that purpose isn't huge and grandiose. That purpose can just be showing up or wanting to help. It can be simple. That's where the real magic happens. I've always been so inspired by the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, to know that one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. My whole life, I never knew exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I always wanted to help. I know I found the most passion in myself when I could find the most love and light and happiness in others. So my Beauty with a Purpose project is just that, is to find the love in yourself through serving others and just showing up with my work with cystic fibrosis, but also too my work in my community. Being able to give to others, as simple as it sounds, is I think the most powerful thing that you can do in this world, and the most incredible thumbprint that you can leave.